I wanted to go to Bethel Seminary because there was a program called Masters of Arts in Global and Contextual Studies. So I had seen it on the list, and I'd done a lot of research, at St. Thomas for business schools and stuff like that. But there was something about this program at Bethel that I fell in love with, because when you read the description, it was about going out. Missions was about people and loving others and being change agents, and it wasn't about this idea that you need to save people. It was about, no, you need to go to people and meet them where they're at. And so loved this program. So I ended up having a discussion with the director, who was Wilbur Stone, who was and still is very precious and dear to me, and he sat me down, and you're in his office, and there's things from every single country. I mean, from the coffee all the way to the books to the decorations on the wall. And I was like, this is my life. I loved every part of it, because you could tell that he loved traveling, and he loved people, and he loved hearing their stories. Because every time I'd ask about where he got this or that, he'd be like, oh, I know this village over here, and then I lived over here for a while, and it was like, you are what I want. This is that life. And so fell madly in love with the program. And as you look at all the classes, it was world religions, and it was directed towards bringing people together and meeting them where they're at, and then figuring out where Jesus comes in at those moments. So it's not about bringing a suitcase full of Bibles. It's about bringing what they need and being there and loving them and being a part of their community. So that means dancing and eating and speaking their language, and then making the steps to go back, so that they don't need to rely on you, and we don't need to rely on them. But it starts this communal idea that all the way in Africa and Asia and wherever else, that there are people that are starting to change for themselves, not American Christian, but for themselves. And that was why it was Bethel Seminary, because nowhere else can you get that kind of mentality that Christianity is only about saving lives, whereas this program was about being present with people and knowing who they are, and loving them as they are, and allowing them to come as they are, without judgment, without shame. And that was like where I was at. That's what I wanted. And so what better way to go back to school and really get back in that kind of moment. And so in classes, and again, as I said earlier, I'm not a big school kid, and this was a very difficult process for me. But in classes, there was this very raw conversation that would happen. So in any sort of theology or religion class, or any of these change agent classes, there was a lingering conversation somehow about women, or somehow about men, that men have typically done this, or women typically do children's ministry, and if they're doing missions, they're probably single. And as a single woman, I was like, but wait, I know a lot of people that are married, and I know a lot of missionaries that it was just a silly conversation. So I grew up in a home. Just keep going, okay?
Just keep going. I can edit all this out.
Okay.
Okay, so you grew. I'm just gonna get some different angles here.
That's fine.
I have the second camera going on, and it's just such a lovely day.
It is.
Okay, so you're going to go back to the and you don't have to talk about gender issues.
Sure.
I was just telling you that's what was going, but if that's part of the story,
yeah.
then that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. And here we go. And action.